Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Invest Power series today. So I've had recently got some new clients which asked me, do you charge a fee? Because my previous broker has actually given me a quote at the time that we're signing the loan documents. And, whilst I don't quite understand what it is, but, I just want to understand, do you charge a fee and what is the fee for? So I thought today I will elaborate a little bit more about what that fee is mainly about and why brokers would need to go about charging it. So to set the scene a little bit, you need to first understand how brokers are remunerated. We get remunerated by bank commissions. So as a loan settles, what happens is bank pays us a commission based on how much the loan amount is, and there's a standard usually set between about 0.6% to 0.715% within that range, and that's called the upfront commission. Usually gets paid about a month to two after the loan settles. On top of that, there is something called trailing commission, which gets paid for the life of a loan, and it ranges between 0.15% to about 0.225 or 0.25% annually. Okay, so there's an upfront component and a trailing component. So based on that fact then, if a broker is going to charge a fee, and that's what we commonly know as clawback in this industry. What is clawback? So a clawback is essentially we introduce the business to the bank, and then within the first 1 year or 2 years, in other words, 12 months to 24 months, if you, for some reason, as a customer, decides to pay off the loan or refinance away, then banks essentially say, hey guys, I'm actually not making a margin or not making a profit out of this loan. So, I actually need to claw back the commission that I paid to you as a percentage. In general, brokers get clawback about 100% of the commissions within the first 12 months. So for example, if today you decided that, after the loan settles, you want to move away from the lender that I introduced and you refinanced away without telling me, then essentially the lender that settles the loan is going to tell me to say, hey, Mr. X has actually gone away, he's refinanced away, therefore I need you to actually pay back the upfront commission that I have paid to you. And that's what we call clawback. If it's within the 12 to 24 months, as a general, there might be 50% clawback or 25% clawback, depending on the lender. So in this instance, we as brokers, we got a business to run, and we obviously want to make sure that it's a profitable business because we're not charities. So some brokers may decide to give a quote or give customer a quote at the time of signing the loan documents. And the quote will state something like this. We as a customer, we hereby authorize the broker to pass on the clawback to us as customers if we refinance away in the first 12 or 24 months. And that clawback amount will be dependent on how much the lender charges the broker. So in other words, as brokers, we may pass that cost onto you, but in essence, we're still making a loss. So that's just looking at it holistically. That's why if you are getting a quote next time from your broker, it's worth having a chat with them just to understand if you don't know what it's for. But mainly it will be for the broker to protect themselves, just to make sure that, that clawback cost is being passed on to the consumer. And there's various reasons in terms of why you could be refinancing away. A lot of times, unfortunately, it is without our control or without the broker control. There has been a lot of arguments in terms of whether it's fair for broker to be copying that, essentially, because, from the perspective, brokers are an introducer. We introduce you as a new customer to the lender. We assess a lot of things in terms of whether it's feasible. But in the course of life, a lot of things could go wrong. And as such, things that's out of your control and you had to refinance away or sell the property for some various reasons, some brokers would then argue Is it fair that we've done our job, we've delivered the loan to you, and due to some unforeseeable circumstance changes, now we actually had to cop the cost ourselves? That's why brokers are sending these quotes to customers, just to make sure they are being they're protecting themselves, protecting the business, so they can obviously serve more people. So on that basis, that's what you see if you actually get a quote. And if you don't actually move away from the lender within the first 24 months, then usually that clawback quote would not apply. So that's why I thought today it's worthwhile educating our listeners to understand that there is, unfortunately, that commission that we earn is subject to clawback. And, because most of my clients actually don't know that. And unless that they get educated and they understand this, that's why if they see a quote comes through, they might be shocked to say, oh, what's this about? I thought I don't need to pay brokers, so what is this? Because now I'm getting a quote. What do I need to do? What do I need to pay? All these questions then stems about. So hope that gives everyone a bit of idea. And unfortunately, brokers are not easy to do, as you could imagine that, if I settle the deal and then there's still 2 years period, which potentially I'll get clawback if my customer decides to refinance away or sell the property due to various reasons. The easiest way to avoid that kind of scenario is by helping your broker. Have the conversation with your broker directly. Be open and honest up front to say, hey, this is my intention about the property. I want to renovate the property and then flip it, or something that you want to do, I want to keep the property long term. It's always better to have that upfront and honest conversation with your broker, with any of the team members. So that way, everybody understands exactly where you're heading, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve. And, we'll help you. We'll help you as much as we can. But in all fairness, as a business owner, we do need to protect ourselves. That's why, if you see a quote next time, have a chat with your broker and see, whether there's something that you guys can work around, maybe hold it off for 2 years before selling, that kind of stuff. So, but always have that conversation with your broker. That's my suggestion. So there's another episode of Invest Power series. I hope you guys will like it. If you are finding this helpful, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys again in next week's Invest Power episode.